that Hibernate isn't fully supported in the Google App Engine. And so you can use JPA and JDO inside of Grails. You don't get the nice kind of Gorm magic that comes along with it. You don't get the finders and things like that. But you can do a lot of those kinds of hand wiring kinds of things.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, man. Well, we might have a chat now to the guys from Griffin, because you guys have had plenty of buzz this year. I don't know how many of you guys attended the Griffin in Depth talk last night. That was really awesome. So we might start with you guys. We were going to ask, when are we going to see a Griffin app on the Java store?
Now. Yesterday.
Yesterday. Yesterday. So, yeah.
Less than 24 hours since it was publicly announced.
Yeah, yeah, and that is just totally awesome. So I guess a follow-on is that Larry himself is very excited about the whole deal with Rich Client. Tell us about that.
Well, apparently Larry loves the Java FX.
All right. So do you think that Griffin is going to be another force rejuvenating the whole Java desktop experience for developers who maybe lost faith in this swing deal or tried it and found it grey and not impressive?
I think it is, because there's really two problems when it comes to developing a desktop app in Java. One of them is generating the UI using a declarative layout. And if you're a GUI framework for Swing applications in Java and you don't have a declarative layout, go home. I mean, everyone's going to declarative layouts. But I think the second problem that's getting underrepresented is the way that the developers write applications and wire things up. The bind annotation is helping to some degree with getting the animations, but it needs to be pushed all the way through the entire model view controller triad. We need to bring model view controller back in front. We need to enshrine it. You know, if it didn't break one of the 10 commandments, I'd say we should get down and worship model view controller. That's how important it is to get a good, solid, maintainable Swing application or a Java FX application or a desktop application running. It's way too easy to write an existing Java Swing application, take all your knowledge of the model view controller pattern and just throw it away. You know, we need to get back. There's no reward for doing it. We need to return the reward. We need to return the value to it.
So there's this JSR 296 that you've been twittering about over the last couple of days. And I think this JSR is called Swing Application Framework. That sounds awfully a lot like Reformation. So what do you guys think about this JSR?
I applied to be on it when it came out, back when Chet was running it, and I was excited about it when I was still excited about it when Scott Hickey was running it, because you know, a football team can win the Super Bowl on a second-string quarterback. But they're on their third string now. I mean, it doesn't matter how good Alex is, unless he can pull an absolute miracle, it's in dire straits. It's getting rebooted right now. I think it's a good idea, and I think there's great ideas that can be implemented with it. I am in doubt about the current implementation and the ability for it to. I don't think it's going to make JDK 7, and unless it gets some serious work, it's just going to be another casualty on the JSR list, unfortunately.
If it ever makes the JDK 7, then I'm afraid it's going to be a hot-baked solution again. And that would be a terrible shame for all of us. So,
do you actually see some parts of that JSR that would kind of go totally against the concept of Griffin right now? Or would you see, even if it becomes, Griffin would play nicely with it?
well, actually, Griffin takes some notions out of the JSR 26. So I don't see that the Swing application framework going against Griffin. Actually, it may complement Griffin, but perhaps the scope is not as broad as we have on Griffin, because we don't only provide a clear way of defining your MVC components and injection of actions, and probably in the future we'll be providing a way to inject resources, which the JSR 296 already defines how to do it. But so far, that's the only thing that they will provide. But we also provide a way to create additional artifacts to wire up everything else in your application. You can create an application directly with external commands and scripts and additional plugins. And the Swing application framework so far doesn't provide nothing like that.
Okay, cool. So I guess most of us are probably Grails web developer folk, and we probably know next to nothing about Swing apps or EDT. I don't know what EDT is, but people say EDT. So we don't know much about the EDT. We're still boning up on the EDT. What advice would you give to guys who want to make the shift? Like I've seen Griffin in NetBeans, and I go, okay, so there's some familiar directories and things going on here. If you want to make the shift over to learning a little bit about Swing development with Griffin, what advice would you give to web developers kind of coming over?
I would say start small.
Griffin created that.
Well, yeah, Griffin create app actually builds a runnable application. It only says content goes here, but it's runnable. And
You've got samples, right?
That's cool. I'm going to do that. I'm going to deploy that to the app store.
it might get approved.
This totally reminds me of this iPhone application.
What
is it like this $1 million iPhone application with one file? This is going to be...
We should search
It
it.
does absolutely nothing.
Content goes here, costs $999.
That's how financing option for the growth podcast.
But another thing that I think if you're going to be developing a web application and developing a Griffin application, I think one of the things you need to remember is that there is no server round trip. A lot of the frameworks that are built, web frameworks, are built around that architectural feature. I mean, the thing that allows a web application to become a client server is that server round trips do a lot of your data refresh, and in a rich application, you can avoid that most of the time. I mean, if you're actually getting data from a server, which not all rich applications need to do, you'll need to do the server round trip, but for all the cutesy animations and the form integration and all the other stuff, you know, it's think of it as a super duper souped up Ajax JavaScript API validation that, you know, doesn't crash on Microsoft Internet Explorer and works on Netscape.
I wonder how many folk nowadays do not have played with Griffin yet, have built a Griffin app, a Hello World, or anything. Okay, so for the audio, maybe some.
About a handful.
Yeah, so it's still early days. So I guess the next follow-on to that is, I guess a lot of us are also waiting to see how far along Griffin, like when should we jump on the Griffin freight train? Like how far away is obviously Grails 0.1 took, you know, it was a while working through, but you guys have built off Grails 1.1, so you're like already inherit so much work there that's production ready, and then you've added your own stuff on top. How far away is, do you think, something where we could deploy something in the enterprise built on Griffin?
And you're actually also working on a book already, which kind of implies you might not be too far away from something.
Yeah. How far away are you guys?
No.
I would say it's ready now. I mean, we're conservative with our numbering and starting from zero, like all programmers should. So, I mean, we try to kind of under-promise but over-deliver. So, it's a lot of stuff is already there. We don't have a persistent story exactly yet. Internationalization isn't quite there, but there's a lot of good stuff, especially when it comes to testing, you know, your UIs and your frameworks.
Yeah, well, in that regard, because we base the Griffin code on the Grails 1.1 base code, even though you will see that our current version scheme is 0.11, it appears to be a very low number. Because we are based on Grails 1.1, I mean, more than 3 years of development and a huge community, Griffin is actually mature. Of course, we don't provide persistence history out of the box, but we already have a way for calling Gorm outside of Rails. So it's easy to embed Gorm and Hibernate into a Griffin application. The problem is there is no automatic support from the core right now. There is no plugin, but it's not that difficult to do.